Bienvenido mi gente, esto es Detrás del Micrófono y hoy tenemos un invitado especial a DJ Geraldo.
Dímelo, dímelo, dímelo. I like the sound effect. I like it. Yeah.
You gotta play it a little bit, you know what I mean? So what's up, man? How you been?
Man, been good, bro. Thank you for having me. Thank you, thank
Hey,
you, thank you.
the pleasure is ours.
Shout outs to Donick for bringing me in with
Yeah,
your
for sure.
guys and just chop it up and stuff.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I want to get started, man. How you start off DJing? How does that passion of music come to your life?
It all started with in junior high school in the Bronx in New York. Just having a passion for like instruments.
Okay.
I remember when I was a little boy, I liked the piano, so my mom put me in piano lessons. I took a couple of classes, but I didn't follow up. I didn't continue, but I've always, since a young age, had kind of like a niche for music. I remember being 5, 6 years old in the Dominican Republic, and I had a tape deck, a cassette deck, right?
Okay.
And I would always record some songs of the radio on the cassette, bring it back out,
Right.
rewind it, and writing the lyrics of the songs just so I could learn the songs.
Right.
Whether it was a merengue, whether it was a balada de José José or things like that. Back then, me crié con mi abuelita, so mi abuelita escuchaba todo eso. So yeah, that's basically how I started, and then I had a passion for also guitar. I tried to do a little bit of guitar as well too. I didn't follow through with it, but I learned a little bit. But it was always that niche to learning something new when it came to an instrument. And then 14 and 15 in high school, that's when I got introduced to turntables
Okay.
and hip hop music. So I'm like, you know what? Let me give this a try.
All right. Wait. All right. So when you started doing the turntables, what year was that in?
2000 and not 2000, 19. I'll say 1993,
Oh wow.
1992.
And that's when everything was just blowing
Well, like
up.
16, yeah. I mean, you had Pete Rock, Seal Smooth. I mean, Grand Puba, just this type of hip hop that was just like street, like hard.
Okay.
But I tried and I pushed and I tried to brand myself and I tried to DJ different parties and places, and it was just I just couldn't get any gigs.
Okay.
I only got like a couple of gigs around the block,
Okay.
in the neighborhood hooky parties when
Okay.
everybody would skip school. I was like, "Yo, Geraldo, DJ, let's skip school." I'm like, I'm not encouraging that.
Right.
That's when I kind of like started DJing, until I got introduced to like CD players,
Okay.
Denon CD players, and a lot of the bachata, the salsa merengue was barely coming out on CDs.
Okay.
Latin music didn't come in wax.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, well, then let me get into this Latin music. And within 6 months, within a year, I was already at a club DJing in front of 2, 3 thousand people. So,
Okay. So how was the first initial time whenever you go to a club, you're about to play, you're getting ready to montar el show? How do you feel, especially like you said, on a crowd that has like 2,000, 3,000 people?
oh, you talking about what I do now or what
No,
happened then?
no, back then.
Oh, I didn't know what to expect. I don't.
Right.
Pero estaba aventado, no. I'm like, let's do it. This is what I wanted.
Right.
This is where I saw myself. I saw myself DJing big crowds. So let's do it. Let's go. Um, and from what I can recall, there's just a lot of just everything just happened
Right.
naturally. I've been prepping, of course, with like small crowds, little crowds, interacting with people. So it was just the same, but it just on a bigger level. And
Right.
it was just it's when you DJ in front of 2,000, 3,000 people. There was I did a concert series in Houston with the radio station Mega, which was Megaton and
Okay.
Mega Fest, and I'm here DJing in front of 20,000 people.
Right.
That's kind of mind blowing, and you just feed off the people.
Right.
You play the right song, and people are screaming for the song, and people
Right.
are singing. And I don't know if they were screaming for the song, or they were screaming for me, but they were screaming.
They were screaming.
And that's
It
what
don't
matters at
matter.
the moment, and that's what you feel, and that's what you feed off, and that's what happened. When I got that first opportunity, back in 1993, 94.
All right. So let me ask you, since we're talking about back then, how has it changed and evolved to now from when you started?
Well, the DJ or the music?
Let's start off with the DJing part first.
Well, I mean, with the DJ, it's just the crowd, what people want now. The DJ changes with the consumer.
Right.
The consumer wants something different now. So the DJ has to adapt to that. If you don't adapt to
stay
to
back.
what your crowd, you stay back, and that's why you see a lot of DJs that don't evolve. You have
Right.
to evolve. I became, I was at the beginning. I started doing strictly Latin. I was just a Latin DJ. Oh, we need you to play hip hop, and no, 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 I'm a Latin DJ.
Okay.
So I would kind of like shutting myself out of networking and out of DJing in different places, and that's why I was like, you know what, I have to learn different genres, and I have to let me go back to my roots of hip hop. Let me make sure that I get a playlist of what's hot. You don't have
Right.
to have all the songs, but have 10, 15, 20 club bangers.
Okay.
That it doesn't matter what time you play it, where you play it,
It's
it's going to get the crowd going.
Okay.
So I build that library on that. So I want to build that library on reggae music. Reggae music was big in New York. I mean, still big in New York.
Right.
But back then in the 90s, like reggae, Buju Banton, Cody Ranks,
Okay.
Super Cat, I mean, you had to know your reggae. So, on top of that, then know you dance music. Back then it was techno. There was no EDM or dance.
Right.
And back to moving forward to now, you got to know what your guarachas are, you got to know what your dubsteps are, you got to know what your hip hop, you got to know not just the hip hop, but you got to know your R&B, you got to know you
Right.
have to know your trap music.
Right.
So yeah, that's how you get ready.
Oh, damn, that's crazy. What about the DJ part of it? I mean, not the
Music.
DJ, the music part of it.
Right, it is wild. It's wild.
Right.
It's not the same. It's not the same as before. I feel music had more substance before.
Right.
When it came to the lyrics, when it came to the beat, it was just it's unique. That's why you see a lot of hits and club bangers from the past that still
Right. They still hit.
resonate.
Yeah,
They still hit
yeah.
because just music is different. Right now, all you need is just Fruity Loops and and a good hook and a repetition, not taken away from the talent, because it still takes talent
Right.
to do a loop in Fruity Loops, to do a loop in Pro Tools, to do a beat, anything. It still takes talent. So I'm not taking away from anybody that's doing music now versus before, but it's definitely different. It's a
Right.
different appreciation, and not the music now. It shouldn't be for everybody. It doesn't have to be for everybody.
Right.
Tú consumes lo que tú quieras.
Right.
You digest what you want. Period. And
Yeah.
I'm not knocking down. I'm not a fan of trap music. Because it's not just my personal reference, but do I enjoy the talent? Yes. Do I enjoy the music, the artistry of making music? I like that and I enjoy that, because like Katra mentioned before, I consider myself an artist.
Right.
Whether I'm not a full blown artist singing, but I do consider myself an artist because of what I project with my talent. And I'm involved in music somehow. I mean, sometimes the DJ is as important as an artist.
Right.
I don't-
Right. Right. I mean, back then it was the DJ was kind of the one that the artist needed to get music played back in the days, right?
I don't know. Absolutely. You have to
You know what I
You
mean?
have to know the DJ to break your records.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So the
Now it's
DJ
a little different.
I feel the DJ had way more power before.
Right.
It was way more props. Before being a DJ, there's back then from Max to Flex, and there was just a lot of DJs in New York that were just God, because that was the only way as an artist that you will get your record played.
Right. Right.
And then of course, if you had a big record label behind you, then there's all the ways that your music would play, and the record labels will go through the DJ as well too, and give
Right.
DJs those props to get your music played.
Right. Right. So I want to ask you, going from the '90s to 2000s and to present day.
We'll talk about
The-
that. I feel old now.
Hey, I'm from the '90s too, so you're good.
I bet.
The transition from where we used to buy CDs, and now everything's streamed.
Man,
How
I
did that
remember-
affect you?
What was the name of this club that you would get like 10 CDs for $1? Do you remember the what? Columbia House. I think
yeah.
it was Columbia House or somebody. There was a couple of them. Oh, I remember ordering CDs left and right for $1.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, you listen to it and then you pay back. Pay what back? I don't know what you're talking about. They're probably gonna get me now. But yeah, man, it was just it was fun, man. It was fun going to buy CDs and
Right.
oh, I want to cop that CD. Oh, I want to cop that record, and this and that, and then what was it? Napster came along. Was it Napster or
It was LimeWire.
no, Napster was before. Napster was first, and then LimeWire, and then that's
Yeah.
when you started downloading music. And I think that was the birth of streaming,
Right.
and downloads and stuff.
Right. How did that affect you? Or did it make your job easier?
Yeah, yes, because it was way more music available.
Okay.
That's when we talked about earlier that I was expanding my horizons and getting to know more music and more genres because, when you go into this website, there were folders,
Right.
They had a reggaeton, reggae folder, they had an Afro beats folder, African music. You have, I didn't know what the hell punta was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like cumbia, no sabía lo que era cumbia. Being in the Dominican Republic and when you go to New York is bien caribeño. The most of the demographic you'll see in New York will be the Dominican or Puerto Rican.
Right.
So ahí está salsa, merengue y bachata.
Okay.
So la cumbia no se escuchaba mucho y la cumbia tiene una gran historia, ¿no? Tiene
Right.
muchos años. Pero ya cuando comienza Napster y comienza LimeWire es donde yo, encuentro this genres like, oh my God, punta, cumbia. I was like, I gotta get into it. So, I started building that, that library for myself. I probably did not play it at the clubs in New York because la gente no le gustaba, no la bailaban, pero por lo menos aprender. Porque
Right.
eso es lo importante, just to learn the genres. So when you need it, you're there. It's
Right.
there.
Exactly. Okay. So, what was your biggest break that you felt in New York as a DJ?
It was that. I mean, it was that. I remember, my break was at this club called Océano La Terraza, which was the one club I DJ for 4 or 5 years. I didn't DJ anywhere else in the Bronx except for like private parties and things like that and events. But that was my break. That was when I met a lot of artists. Like I had the pressure of meeting Aventura, giving one of their first breaks in front of a big crowd. Mark Anthony, Victor Manuel, all the bachateros you mentioned it. Raulín Rodriguez, Anthony Santos, Luis Vargas. I think that's how I got my big break. Within the scope of how I was, which is
Right.
just a DJ,
Yeah.
But my big break did not come till I got here to Houston.
Until you got here to Houston. Man, that's crazy. That's a lot of big names you're throwing out there. You know what I mean? And you had the pleasure to work with them in a sense. You know what I mean? And build something from it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not, I mean, that's only like just
Just
only a
the-
little because, like I said, like my big break as a DJ came when I had the blessing of moving to Houston in 2002. Worked my ass off 2002, 2003. 2004, making a name for myself, and actually, I made a name for myself in the after hours here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it
I
wasn't
didn't
really,
know
it
that.
wasn't really in like regular clubs. It was just the after hours. There was this one after hours called Viva Latino.
Okay.
Viva Latino karaoke. You're probably too young for that. And then that, and then there was this one club too. I forgot. It was King Kong.
Okay.
There was a club called King Kong here. That's when I also had a break as well too. And when the owner would bring all this top-notch artists and you get exposed next to a big name and you get exposed as well
Right.
too.
Right.
So I think my big break definitely came when Mega started, when reggaeton blew up, and I'm here, interviewing Daddy Yankee, Don Omar. I'm here interviewing Arcángel. I'm here interviewing all the underground artists that they would just show up at the radio stations. They were
Okay.
hungry,
Right,
they didn't know,
right.
they wanted. So they were cool. You exchange phone numbers, you hang out with them. Aventura en ese tiempo también. When then we seen Yandel as well too. I mean, I've had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of artists back then. Most recently, Maluma,
Okay.
being a part of Hennessy too, and doing Maluma's record release party. I DJ Maluma's birthday party.
Okay.
In a private mansion in Las Vegas. It was only like 15 of us, so I had the pleasure of doing that. So I think my big break definitely came with Mega.
Okay. Okay. So I wanna save the interview part of it, but what makes you come down to Texas? And how do you think not only just come down to Texas, but what made you feel like this was it, like the city?
To be honest with you, I wasn't really doing anything with myself.
Okay.
Back in 2002, 2001. It was right around the unfortunate accidents of the World Trade Center.
Okay.
I mean, I saw the buildings on fire with my own eyes.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's just shocking. So, on a personal level, wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing anything with myself. I had no direction, no vision, nothing. It was just,
Right.
just doing nothing. And I had the opportunity just to make sure I had the opportunity to come to Houston with my best friend, my compadre Jose, to visit his mom here
Okay.
in Houston, and we were just hanging out one night playing dominoes, and he was like, "Yo, let's drive to Houston, go see my mom." I'm like, "All right, what I gotta do? Let's do it." I had $80 in my pocket, so I packed a little bag and $80, and I came here. I was
Okay.
like, okay, so I stayed in his house. It was a blessing, que paz descanse su madre that passed away. She's like a mother. She was like a mother to me. I came here and I felt like home. I felt like wow, like this is a new place, and I also saw opportunity.
Okay.
Opportunity to expand myself, to brand myself, and to take this city that I felt was a virgin city,
Right.
and make my mark and make my name. So
Okay.
so I mean that's one of the things that enticed me to stay here. And I stayed. I mean, I stayed. I pushed 2002, 2003, and then 2004 when Mega Flip Station was a rock station. It became a reggaeton station. That's when I got my big opportunity.
Okay. How does that opportunity present itself?
I was at the right time and at the right place.
Okay.
And that's important. That's just the motto that I do in my everyday life now when it comes to opportunity. Even being here, I don't know. This podcast is it's gonna show up somewhere.
Yeah.
You never know what's gonna bring me. You
That's
never.
true.
It's kind of like, throwing good things out in the universe, and the universe bringing it back to you.
For
So
sure.
it's just my motto. It's the same thing. Um, I was at the right time at the right place at a club called Coco Loco.
Okay.
I was DJing the back room. I had the back room reggaeton. I just
Yeah.
had probably like 100 people show up in the room, dance to reggaeton, because reggaeton was just still on the ground. It was nothing, but it was the new hot commodity that was coming up.
Right. Right.
Right. So, Mega did their first live broadcast from Coco Loco, but the DJ, which was a great DJ, X-Ray,
Okay.
amazing hip hop DJ, but unfortunately he wasn't as built in the reggaeton library as I was. So, they were like, "Oh, we need to play reggaeton. It's a reggaeton station. We need to broadcast reggaeton." So, they were like, the owner was like, "Hey, I got a reggaeton DJ here. Use him." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure."
Okay.
I didn't get paid. I didn't ask for money. I just saw opportunity.
Right.
I was
Exactly.
like, "Put me on." Oh, yeah, one thing that they say, "Oh, we can't mention your name because you're not an employee." I was like, "I don't care. Let me do it."
Okay.
And I did it. It was 2 hours nonstop reggaeton, hype, beats. Just it was just a hype. Then at
Okay.
the end, they were like, "Yo, we need to talk to you in the office."
Okay.
So come see us. Got a business card, and boom.
I think that's crazy because you're saying that they didn't mention your name. One.
No,
You know what I mean? It came out of nowhere.
right?
You know what I'm saying? So,
No
but you
money,
were
no
open,
money,
no
nothing,
money,
no,
no money,
nothing.
but you were so open to do it. You know what I mean? And just like you just said a couple of minutes ago, you said you put good things out there, and primero Dios, you get good things back. You know what I'm
It's that
saying?
you have to take advantage of those opportunities because tú no pierdes nada.
Yeah.
El decir que no te cierra una puerta. Dile que sí, yes, I can do that. Of course, something that's not going to either affect you physically or affect you mentally, then do it. If it's an opportunity, if you fail, if you don't do it, then so be it. You did it.
Right, right.
That's it. You did it. You took the opportunity, and there's always a good thing that's gonna come. Even a memory
Right,
is still a good thing. I did that.
right,
I recorded a song. The song did not go where I wanted to. I wanted it to blow up. It didn't blow up, but I made a song.
Right.
And that's a memory. That's a personal accomplishment that it doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna take that away from me.
Yeah.
I pass that on to my children. My children were, "Oh, Daddy's cool. He made a song."
right.
So it's for me. I did it for me.
Okay.
So it's important to every chance you get, if it feels right, just take the opportunity.
Right. I think that's huge in your part because nowadays
I
I
was
feel
missing
like
that effect, man. Come
I feel like a lot of people nowadays they want the money up front and the recognition up front.
They
You
want,
know what I'm
they
saying?
Want, they want what's
So-
called instant gratification.
Exactly.
And instant gratification, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
great. Hey, I do give me. I do. You get rewarded. It's good. But it's kind of, I don't want to say it's an old school mentality, but it's just a mentality where you have to bust your ass, man.
Right,
Put in the
right.
work. I put in the work. I put in the
Right.
work. I don't mind putting in the work, and I've had my ups and downs.
Right.
I've been on top, and as soon as I'm in the bottom, I'm not dwelling about, I was in the top, this and that. No, you know what? Let's go
Let's go
back
back
on
up.
top.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
know my way there already.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier,
Right.
and I know how it feels to be down there. I don't want to be down there.
Right.
So I'm pushing myself.
Right.
Go on top. I fell again. I'm like, all right, another, and you just gotta keep going.
Yeah. So so you start working on Mega, and how does that change for you? because I know in the in the radio is way different than playing
Let me
at a club.
let me tell you, it did change. It's something that I've always wanted to be a radio DJ. You know, radio DJ is kind of like it's kind of like your ultimate, um, your ultimate step when you're a street DJ, a club DJ. You want to be in radio because why? Because your audience is going to grow. You get more recognized. So it was mind blowing to me because I started getting this attention
Right.
that I've never gotten before, and I started just people were they want to know who you are. They praising you. They go to where you are. They want to be your friends. Some for good reasons, some from all the bad. But you
Right.
just have to identify that. It comes with the territory. Um, and it was just mind blowing. That experience to one day just DJing in front of 100 people, 200 people, and then 3 months later you're DJing in front of 20,000 people
Right.
at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. So it's crazy.
That shit was lit. I was there.
Did you go? Okay, there you
that
go.
shit was lit. That's crazy. So okay, so let's move on to you interviewing all these upcoming artists at the time, right? Because they weren't mainstream just yet.
Right. They were. I mean, they were big.
They were big, but
they were not.
not
They were.
here.
They were definitely not mainstream.
How was it like that? How do you go from playing music because you're speaking with music, right?
Right.
And you actually grab a mic and talk to the person.
I mean, it's you're already. I'm already relating myself, through the music, playing their songs, playing the songs every day, every day. So you kind of you build that relationship with the artist without you even knowing them because they're your artists, they're your people. I got my top 20 songs that are gonna propel my DJ set. So I have a relationship with those artists already. So by the time I meet you as an artist, Daddy Yankee, Wisin y Yandel, I'm like, wow, it's
Right.
really happening. Of course, you maintain your composure because
Right, right.
you don't want to be all groupie and stuff like oh my God.
Did you ever have a groupie moment?
I did. I'm not. I'm very fortunate to always keep my cool and my calm
Okay,
and
okay.
my character. Um, I did. There was one groupie moment I had, which was one of my favorite artists of all time, that recently passed away. May he rest in peace, Tito Rojas.
Okay.
He's a salsero in Puerto Rico. I'm really good friends with Alex Quintron. He's the first base. He was the first base coach for the Houston Astros.
Okay.
Not that I'm an Astros fan, but I'm just saying.
You're not an Astros fan?
I'm a Yankees
I mean,
fan.
you need to switch over to
But
the
I
side.
do no, but I do appreciate the amazing baseball that the Astros are playing. You can't take that away. And the Astros are really the Yankees' daddy.
Right now, yeah.
No, they've been the daddy
For the last
for the past
five-
four or five
5
years.
years,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's just been insane. But it's my team.
Right.
The Yankees are my team that I grew up in, and I feel committed to my passion, to my
Right,
to my
exactly.
brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because the Astros are winning, I'm not gonna jump in the bandwagon. Now I root for the Astros. Once they pass the Yankees, I have to root for the Astros
Okay.
because it's a win for my city is a win for me.
For sure.
And unfortunately, if the Astros win, Okay, so yeah, definitely, that's when I had my groupie moment with Tito Rojas when I went to Puerto Rico when he took me to his birthday party, Alexis Stroh's
Okay.
birthday party, and I'm just sitting there watching him playing the guitar, cantando canciones bohemia, and just singing, and I'm like I caught myself like, oh shit, wake up.
Right.
So yeah, but other than that, no. I've met a lot of artists. One of the artists that that I felt connected to and that I like interviewing was Victor Manuel, interviewing Don Omar, Daddy Yankee. I think is one of the most humble artist person that I've met. You talk to him and it's not just about music. It's not about just perreo. It's about life too. It's about his personal feelings
Right,
and that's
right.
important. And it's important for you to connect because if you connect with someone you interview and on a personal level prior to opening up the mic, then you have more substance to talk about.
Right,
They kind of
right.
open up to you a lot more. So I've always had that ritual of once the artist would get there, oh, how you doing? How's everything? How's your
Right.
family? And I would get into really, of course, not too personal that they don't want to disclose, but stuff that is obvious,
Right.
I'll read the bio, where they're from, what school they went to, any funny stories about them, and things like that I find on the internet. I was like, oh, I remember when you did that, and oh, I remember you singing choir, and you sang that song, and this happened to you. And they were smiling and laughing. So once you open up that mic, it's family.
Okay.
It's a friend.
Yeah.
So it's different, that they talk to you on a friendly level. They'll be able to open up more to you, and therefore you have a successful interview.
Okay. Okay. So you went
See, like
from
me and you, man,
yeah,
we're chopping it up
yeah,
before. That's
yeah.
why I
That's
feel.
true. That's
That's why
true.
I'm not like this. Yeah, yeah, like it.
So okay, but you're not in Mega no more. You made a move.
Yeah, I left Mega in 2019. Not because I wanted to leave, not because they wanted me to leave. We just had differences in contracts.
Okay.
That didn't happen. I took a break from radio. Said I was just going to retire from radio because, my life, my life had a different direction. I was representing, I'm still representing Hennessy at the time. So I wanted to take my career to be a better ambassador for Hennessy.
Okay.
And also, just that and, continue to be a club DJ, which is
Right.
basically my passion from the beginning. And then after the pandemic, I got the offer from the new station, Power 105.3, which was a all tropical station,
Okay.
which is kind of falls down my line. And like
Yeah.
it's a Latin open format station
Right.
where you go from a cumbia, from a norteña
Right.
to a
Yeah.
merengue to a bachata. So I'm like, yo, that's my realm.
Okay.
So it was a no brainer for me to take in, and also the opportunity of actually doing my show from home, doing
Yeah.
it live from home.
Okay.
It allowed me to be more at home, to dedicate more time to myself, to my peace, to my family, and also allow me to pre-record a lot of my shows,
Okay.
letting me travel with Hennessy, travel on my own, and just exploring the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that turned out your way. So, how do
I got three so far. I like
you
it.
you counting them? So, how do you end up being the ambassador for Hennessy?
Let me tell you, representing Hennessy is not something you apply for.
Okay.
It's not a job where we're like, oh yeah, it's something that they definitely seek. They
Okay.
seek for an individual that's going to represent the brand well.
Right.
Hennessy represents heritage. They represent luxury. So the way you carry and you represent yourself, it's what's important. It's what they look for. So I got the call back in 2010 to be a part of a program through an agency, and I'm like, like I said, it was an opportunity. I said, sure. I didn't know what brand it was. Like, we want you to, be part of a program, and you're going to be representing a major spirit. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Let's do it. So we, begin negotiations and talks, and they finally revealed it. It was like, oh, you're going to be representing Hennessy. I'm like, what? That's that's
Right.
my choice of cocktail.
Right.
Hennessy since the beginning, since New York. So it was a no-brainer. It was just happy. I had a tenure with the DJ Collective program back in 2010, 2011, and 2012, which was amazing. Again, it opened up so many doors.
Okay.
It was the first time that I travel overseas to France. Hennessy being a French company, traveling to Paris, traveling to Cognac, France, with Hennessy's from. It was just an amazing experience. I remember, showing up in Paris, and they shut down a whole club for us,
Oh
for all
wow.
the DJs of the program. So I'm here DJing, with, next to DJ Laz, DJ Lobo, in Paris, in a
Wow.
club, and I'm like, I've never in my wildest dreams would imagine that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in Mega, I'm in radio. I remember, because of Mega, I went down to Belize about 3, 4 times to DJ. Belize, has a very big culture when it comes to reggae, so reggaeton was a no-brainer for them. But then, going to Europe and Paris is a different thing. So that's how everything started with Hennessy. I took a break, a couple of years from them,
Right.
and then the opportunity came again. 2016. Hey, we have a new program we would like you to be a part of, for you to represent Hennessy, and it's Team Hennessy. Team Hennessy program, and I say absolutely. I would love to. Ever since 2016 till now, then I'm representing Hennessy, doing a lot of culture events. Also helping out the community. We're very big in community, and make sure that I continue to represent Hennessy well.
That's awesome, man. It's crazy how a company could take you travel all across the world and learn different experiences as well.
Yeah, I mean that's important, and Hennessy is someone that's really going to if you represent them, they're definitely going to take care of you and back.
That's awesome. So now, I wanted to ask you this, right? Because podcasts are popping all over the place. Loki, you were kind of doing the early stages of podcasts, interviewing on the radio. You know what I mean? How do you feel like now how the podcast is coming all over the place? How does it, change now in the radio kind
Well,
of,
isn't
the
yeah.
the station? Because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of people still listen to the radio, but a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? Because they have access to the music so fast. So what do you think about
Just like we
those
talked, I
two?
mean, just like we talked about on my DJ evolution, just like we talked about in the music evolution, radio has evolved in the way people consume music, clothes, food. It has changed. People have access, with technology to have whatever they want at the palm of their hands, and they have the opportunity, and not wait to 3 o'clock for DJ Geraldo to get on to hear what Daddy Yankee has to say. You can
Right.
turn into Molusco in Puerto Rico and listen to Daddy Yankee, or listen to your podcast, or listen to somebody's podcast. It's good. It's good. It's just more opportunity, and it has made people step up their game.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because you get too comfortable, then you won't evolve. So a lot of people, I'm grateful and happy to see a lot of people evolve when it comes to podcasting. They just not do radio, but they'll do the podcast, because it's something that I think lives longer than radio. Radio, you listen to it, okay, you heard the interview, gone. A podcast is gonna live in social media.
Right, right.
It's gonna live on YouTube, forever. So
Right, right.
that's very key. It's important. I like that.
Well, that's good. So before we wrap up the interview, I wanted to.
Already? That's not it. Which was it? What?
It was this one.
Uh,
But
Should have known.
but the person that you are today, what would you give yourself as un mensaje to your younger self?
I mean, it's hard to go back and tell your younger self not to make the mistakes you made, because it's not going to. How can you then attest for who you are today?
Right.
The mistakes I've made throughout my life is what made who I am. The adversities that I had to go through, on a personal level, on a work level, on an everything level.
Right.
Those adversities and those mistakes is what helps you. You make better decisions, and it's what makes your character stronger and better.
Right.
So I'll probably just go back and just eat popcorn and just watch myself continue to mess up and fuck up. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
awesome.
So that's that. Yeah, of course you must say, sometimes people say, oh man, if I wish I would have known that. Oh yeah, if I could go back in time, I could change this, I could change that. I can tell you right now that I would not go back and change anything in my life as it is. Because everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And I feel that if I say, I wish I would go back and maybe gone into stocks, and maybe I would have be a millionaire now.
Right.
It's I don't it's not reasonable. It's not logical. It's not realistic
Right.
to say that. It's realistic to say, you know what, I did what I did. I've learned from my mistake. Am I a better person than when I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago? Absolutely.
Right.
Am I in a better position that I was 10 years ago? Absolutely. Am I making the same mistakes that I'm making 10 years ago? Yes and no.
Right.
But however, you make smarter mistakes.
True.
When you know what you're getting into, and you know the repercussions of whatever mistake you make or whatever chance you take, because sometimes you got to know the difference between a mistake and a chance. You take a chance, the chance didn't work, then it's not a mistake. It was just a chance you took.
Yeah.
A mistake is something that you don't educate yourself in, and you just do it.
Right. That's awesome. Oh, you know what? Before we forget, I wanted to talk to you about your song that you recorded. Not only you're a DJ and you're playing the radio, but you actually made a song. Talk to us.
Yeah, man. I
about it.
mean, it's something that I have to give props to Alex Sensation, a DJ from New York, which I think started kind of like for me, as far as my knowledge, started that trend to say, DJs can make music. So I'm like, good thing, and I started to see all the DJs doing thing, and I know Omar Romero, which is the one of the CEOs and program director of the new radio station Power. They were like, man, you gotta be, you could be the next Alex Sensation. I was like, well, I don't want to be the next Alex Sensation. I want to be me.
Right.
But you know what? But I know what you mean, and I know what you're talking about, and props to Alex Sensation to set up, to set that, that ground for all of us. He was like, you should do a song, make music, try it. You will support you. You have a brand that's power behind you, so do it. So you know what? So I'm like, okay, all right, a song. What can I do? So I said to myself, okay, it needs to be something that's a club banger. It needs
Right.
to be a hit. Yo no canto. I can't sing I can't. So I'm like, it has to be something that's catchy. It has to be something with a great hook. You know, something with a good hook. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be catchy. Se pega. So I'm like, okay, I'm brainstorming. So I'm like, who can help me with this? So I reach out to one of the best, you know, here in Houston, which is Maximo.
Yeah.
I reached out to Maximo. I was like, Maximo, I got this crazy idea. I want to do this. I want to do that. He was like, come to the studio.
Okay.
So I got cold feet. So I'm like, oh, shit. He said, go to the studio. Like, what the hell am I going to go and do? Well, I was like, so I kept putting it off. I put it off. I put it off for a week, you know, 2 weeks, a month. And then Maximo was like, yo, ¿qué pasa? Are you coming or not? We doing this now? I was like, you know what? Let me do it. Let me listen to my inner self and let's go. You have nothing to lose. You know, it's that
Right.
opportunity. You know, you're gonna get on the mic. You're gonna sing. What's the worst that can happen? That you just don't make it. You know, that's it. But you tried it. So I tried it, and you know, he started talking to me. We talked about what I wanted to do, and he's like, okay, I know what you want. Boom.
Okay.
Come back next week. I was like, all right. I went back next week. He had a couple of songs for me already.
Oh, damn.
So I was like, okay, well, let me see. And then I started singing this song, that song, and there was this song that we did that was called Suena, and we recorded it, and we just couldn't agree on the beat,
Okay.
right? So I'm like, okay, so that's there. And then a couple of days later, he said, I got it. It's called Que Peda.
Okay.
I was like, what? I was like, yeah, Que Peda. It's a word that it's common. It's in the club. I mean, what do people go to the club?
Right.
I don't want to say it, but
Yeah.
right. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So you know, we got on the mic, and he was coaching me of how to sing because I don't know how to sing. So he was just coaching me, saying, okay, you're gonna do this way, this tone, and you know, make sure you keep your voice on a certain level. We'll do the rest for you. So of course,
Okay.
you know, the magic of auto tunes and the magic of music production.
Right.
And the song came to life, you know, with House of Musa, which is his company, and we created a character called the Panda.
Okay.
The panda was a character on the song and the music video, which is a crazy panda, you know, that does 9 to 5 in the office, is overwhelmed, and he just wants to go to the club and party, but nobody pays attention to him because he's a panda. So it was just pretty fun to do that song.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty cool,
Have an
though.
explosion here somewhere?
No. Yeah,
Oh, okay, I like that.
All right, so drop your social media. That way the people, people could find you and, follow you.
At DJ Geraldo with an L, not Gerardo, Geraldo, DJ
Okay.
Geraldo, just like that. And also you can follow my fashion, my fit page, which is Gerald Brookski.
Okay.
But whenever you go to the DJ Geraldo, you can find a link through my stuff there too. You could always listen to me on the social media for the radio station Power FM in Houston.
Okay. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank you
making
having
time.
me. I do appreciate that, and thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, man. Thank you.